Greetings, everyone. We're here. I'm here. Just me today. Yes, it is me today. And I am going to be painting because we had a little delay on playing Batman, the animated series. Dice could not be here because they're having some work done at the house. So he's got to be there for that. So I figured, why not... there we go, pointing over there. You see that thing? That big old green bird? It's from Battletech. It's a miniatures game with big stompy robots. And we're going to paint some because I've had a lot sitting there waiting to paint. And what better time to do it? It's a nice day. It's beautiful out. I'm cooped up indoors painting minis. I'm wearing a shirt for the Falcons because I'm a Jade Falcon fan. Also a Steiner fan too. That whole Dragon's Fury thing in the chat. You won't see that until I switch to the next scene. Which I'm going to do right now because you're probably tired of looking at this mug and you'd rather see some minis, huh? I will tell you this. I'm not using very small brushes today. This sucker's got a tip on it. It's huge. It's going to work for exactly what I need. So, of course, I'm also going to use a smaller brush. You can't really see that tip. You just barely see it right there. Just a bare tip. That's going to be used for a little bit of detail work, but because they're big stompy robots, most of it is going to be used or painted with this big old brush here. Just slop that stuff right on. So without further ado, let's move over because I gotta talk about how Clan Wolf sucks. Clan Wolf, yeah. In the Ill Clan era, they actually won, as it were, and the Jade Falcons are no more. They're low guards now or some crap. Battletech is a game that has endured since the 80s in one shape, form, or another. From the original version of Mech Combat, which is a miniatures game. This is turning out quite nice. 2 video games. And then Catalyst Game Labs brought this back out with brand new mechs and lots of them. They just had a Kickstarter for Mercenaries, which these are not part of. These actually came from the Kickstarter for Clan Invasion. This is one game that it's a game. It's a board game. It's a miniatures game. But there is a huge background, a huge history into everything for this game. A lot of the people that play it have actually come over from the Games Workshop area, specifically Warhammer 40K. So those guys are rather particular on how they paint their stuff. And if you're not playing with painted minis, then you ain't playing. And me, I have a lot of unpainted minis, so I'll play them as I feel. Because, yeah, painted minis look great on the battlefield, but they're not necessary to play the game or enjoy the game. Now, Clan Jade Falcon has, you can look it up on the internet. There's a lot, including Clan Wolf, Dragon's Fury, Karita is the house. They have particular paint schemes. You can paint your mechs any old way you want. Certain factions, like clan Falcons, they will use a green and a yellow paint scheme. Now, I happen to have a metric ton of mechs here. I've got a whole bunch of them. I've got this guy here, this guy here, this one. Those are the nice big guys. This guy's the biggest. And you got this guy. Each mech has what's known as a tonnage or a weight to it. And each mech has specific weapons that they carry. They also have these have, or what are known as omni-mechs, which means they come similar when you meet them on a battlefield, but they always have different weapons, different loadouts, if you will. So I have 10 mechs I'm going to do today. It seems a little weird to do 10 mechs in the next 2 hours, but I think I can pull it off because most of it, and I'm going to start with the biggest mother on the block. This one is a dire wolf or a Daiashi. It is 100 tons, the biggest on the battlefield of the era. And yeah, I'm just going to turn this light on here so I can see a little bit better. And I'm going to take my nice big brush with some nice green paint on it and just start to paint. Because I'm not worried about the fine details, because the fine details are in the panels. And those will come out later. I want to get a nice good coat of green on these guys, because that is going to be my base coat. That's what we're going to start with. So we're going to base coat everybody in this glorious green. Some areas are a little tougher to get into because the arms are just kind of in the right spots to be difficult to get to. We're gonna do up the base coat on all the mechs. We'll just run right down the line, and then we'll go back and we'll hit the yellow on them, because the yellow is going to be on various panels and stuff, because that's more of an accent color for the Falcons instead of being their base color. Now, like I was saying earlier, a lot of the Warhammer guys, they came over and they paint mechs really good. Airbrushes, people have airbrushes to paint with and whatnot. I do not. I have a brush. I have these guys. This is my brush. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to do one better here. Father's Day, my son gave me something, and it looks like that. It's a paint. It's a brush, or a blah. It's one of these minis holder things. So I can just not hold the mini and just start slathering. With the community that is out there for these people, for the Battletech community, it is a diverse community. It is a huge community. It is also, some people can say it could be anal too, because if you're not painting the mechs for the specific unit, then you're not painting right, You know, there's a lot of people that just are like, nope, you got to paint it this way. Nope, you should be painting the, if you're going to paint this unit, you got to paint it this way. Well, it's a ginormous galaxy. Not every unit is in that paint scheme. And I do not subscribe to painting a mini for a specific unit. You know, a cannon, what they call cannon units, I will paint for a unit that I feel like painting for. Could it be one of the cannon ones? It could be. It may be eventually. Who knows? So I'm just going to paint. Now you might notice under in the lower left where my little picture is, because you'd rather see me paint than look at my smiling face. If you were to take a good look at that picture right there, that drawing of me in the lower left, that is a headshot I did for the Kickstarter of the Clan Invasion back a few years ago when Catalyst started redoing minis and came out with all these wonderful, beautiful sculpts. There was a tier in that Kickstarter that you could actually do and have a canon character in the universe. So I went ahead and I was like, you know what? I got the disposable income at the time. I'll do it. So I did. And a lovely little guy from the Steiners by the name of John Vecken was born. And if you're watching this and you were part of the Clan Invasion Kickstarter, you've got his card. It's a slightly different pose than this one, but it's him. Pretty cool. He drives a Jenner, and he is part of the 17th Shadow Irregulars of the Lyran Commonwealth at the time. Even though he's wearing the fist on his chest. See, we're just slapping this paint on. And it's not really going on all that thick. It's going on pretty good. I do like these minis compared to the originals. The originals were good way back in the 80s. They were good. But these are rather nice. Do love the detail. Now, I will have to make sure that when I am done painting all these, because I live in Western New York, and we have a little bit of a problem here with humidity. And depending on the humidity, depends on whether or not you can spray paint to do a sealant coat to the minis or not. And I am going to have to keep an eye on that because we recently did the Batman animated game. We did those minis. And the last set of minis I did for that game had a little bit of a problem. The paint, when I sprayed the sealant coat on, it didn't coat well. And it ruined the paint. It ruined the paint jobs, which sucks. Because now I either have to go back and repaint them or leave them as is. Chances are I'm probably just going to leave them as is. I might touch up some of the bigger areas, but that's it. Okay, gonna get the LRM rack here. That coated up. Now, there's some green in there that didn't get greened. Get rid of some of the extra. I did get a whole bunch into these coolant vents. Okay. There is one green ass mech. So. We're going to peel this off. It comes with a blue sticky tack, which is great for holding mechs down. All right, so in case you're wondering why I have 10 different mechs that I'm painting up, is because the Falcons, when they do what's known as a batch all, and they're deciding what they're going to bring down to the battlefield to fight, they bring down what's known as a star. A star is a group of mechs. The inner sphere, what they call it, is a lance. Lances are 4 mechs, or equivalent VTOLs, tanks, infantry. These guys, they bring 5, because that is what they decided they were going to do. We'll bring down 5 mechs for our groupings. So they do that. Actually, you know what? Because I'm doing the shoulder cannons here, the shoulder missile pods, I'm not just going to hold the mini. Because I don't quite have enough room between myself and this thing, which is my magnifying lens. I need the magnifying lens to be able to see what the heck I'm doing here. So I can make sure I get all the details. Make sure I slather this paint in all the spots. Not too thick, but I want to get it in where it belongs. Now, this mech that I am painting up, and I'm probably going to screw up names here and there because, yeah, I've been playing Battletech since the 80s. Sometimes, and because I haven't been playing this game all that much, I've forgotten how or the names of some of the different mechs. And the clan mechs especially, they have two different names. They have what the inner sphere calls them, and they have what they call themselves. This guy here is one of the main mechs. It's what you see on a lot of publications and whatnot. This guy here is actually called a Mad Cat. In 3049, that is when the clans decided they were going to come back into the inner sphere, into the galaxy, and take over. They were going to go ahead and reinsert themselves back into the galaxy, and they were going to put everything right, put themselves back in control, because they thought that they were the shit. They were the people. Genetically modified to be superior, and so forth. Alright, let's put this on my little blue tack. I can hold it and do the rest of this. Now, like I said, it's been a while since I've played, and I can be a little rusty with what I remember. I have to look details up on things like the different mechs, like, you know, what is the tonnage of this guy? And what armaments does he have? You know, I got to try and remember all of that stuff. It's all in the various books and publications and whatnot. But this bad boy, she's a hefty mech. Good 75-ton hefty. Light on its feet for the most part. She can jump, get out of situations that it finds itself problematic, though I've not known any Mad Cat that has gotten into a situation that it couldn't just shoot its way out of. Yes, this figure holder came from Mr. Ben for Father's Day. I do adore this thing. I was out at the largest game store in America. A place called Millennium Games. It is the largest in the country. Well, it will be as soon as they move to their new location. Then it will be the largest in the country. It'll be huge. And the figure holders are like $40. It's insane. $40 for this. It's ridiculous. But, you know, when I looked at it, I was like, no, no, it's nice, but no, not gonna. Benny was with me at the time, and he made a mental note that I liked it. And when he went out with his friend on Father's Day, or the day before Father's Day, last Saturday, he said this is what he wanted to get. You were kicked out of what session? If you're talking about kicked out of Twitch, I would never have known. Because Twitch doesn't tell you if people come or go. Twitch just doesn't do that. Oh, hello. I see a spot in here. Okay. Okay, there's another bright green jade color. So let's pull him off without touching him, set him to the side. Let's get the next guy. Uh-oh. You know what might be a nice idea? Every now and again, I gotta water my brush down so I don't get dry paint in it. That would be so much better. So, ta-ta-ta-da. All right, here we go. A large number. Now, on the if you don't know what the mechs are, just by looking at them, you have to go underneath. There's a little number here. And that number signifies what each mech is. Wait a minute. This is not. What? The devil? Yeah. No, that is not Alright, something's not right here because the base number is wrong. Ah, there we go. Clan Invasion. There we go. This little bad boy here. Right, actually, I'm going to do the top of him first before I do that. This guy is called a summoner. I do believe he is 60 tons. Or 65 maybe? I don't remember. I never really played much with the summoner. I like the Mad Cat. I like the smaller mechs. And such. Did I hit that? I did. Okay, good. I like a lot of the smaller mechs because they're limber, maneuverability. You know, that works out so much. We'll get right on in there. Now, if you saw that, there's a whole bunch of little dots right there. I just covered them all. Fine and dandy, because I'm pulling it all right back out. It'll dry and those detail points will come right back out. Of course, that hair is going to bug me. Got a hair. A piece of hair stuck on my mech. So there we go. All right, let me stick them to the holder. Come on back. Okay. It makes me wonder if you can hear Nex upstairs or not. Because he's quite loud. I'm going to have to get some more paint because there's a lot of green being used here. Oh, I should have enough. It's a brand new bottle. The paint that I'm using is Army Painter. And it is called Glitter Green. It's a very beautiful color. It's a metallic. So it will work beautifully and give it a little bit of a metallic sheen, which is going to probably go away once I start adding in a little detail and whatnot. And once I give it the semi-gloss treatment, it won't look so shiny. But then again, you know, big stompy robots are meant to be shiny. They're meant to be metallic. Metal, basically. I mean, if they're not metal, what the hell are they? So we paint them up as if they're metal. Whoop. A little bit more here. Drip, drip, drip. These mechs are going to turn out really well. When I'm done hitting the green on all of these, then I'm going to go back and hit the yellow spots. I should have most of the green done on everybody soon. Half hour? Takes about 5 minutes per mech to do this. To do the slap of the paint, just slop it on. If I'm not in frame, always just give a shout. Just go, yo, you're moving out of frame. I can't see what you're doing. Okay. I gotta get the top of his leg. The mechs will go a little faster with the green once I get down to the little guys. Because little guys, they don't have as much to cover. And like I said before, I am not very professional in my painting. I mean, I do okay. I'm not bad. Could be better. But, you know, as long as you can see it at arm's length, then we're good to go. That's what I say. If you can see it at arm's length and it looks good, then we're kosher. Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of an issue because my fingers will start to, and they're already tingling a little bit, which of course is not a good thing. You know, it happens when you get older. You know, things tingle that shouldn't be tingling. You know, a little bit of arthritis, little carpal tunnel, you know. That tends to happen. And my puppers is like, hey, I want to talk. Must be seeing someone walking down the road. Highly possible. And almost done. Yeah, left it a little inside the legs. Gotta get inside those legs. Just a touch more paint on this foot. In the back. That foot there. Just do a quick check on everything. And one more mech down. Okay. It's a good thing too, because my fingers are really starting to tingle. See, I've only done 3 mechs so far, and the first one is dry to the touch. Look at this bad boy. Look how green he is. It's crazy. Okay, let's go down to the next one. Here's a nice, I believe this is a 65-ton mech, or 60-ton. No, this is 65. I think this is 65. Can you tell what it is from looking at it from the top down? Probably not, because I couldn't tell. Oh, I can. This is a vulture, or, looking at said number, they also call it the Mad Dog. And you know what? I could probably just slap him right on and just go to town, because he's a little small. We're starting to get into the smaller guys, shorter guys. So I don't have to worry about it too much. Now you'll notice that I just painted over his head like crazy. His cockpit's actually right up here where my brush is. Tiny little thing. That is going to be tough to paint. That's where my little brushes come into play. But for now, we paint these guys up. Just slather coat them. Now, a lot of the paint jobs that you'll see when you look at people's paintings of these mechs, and even mine, a lot of mechs are painted in what they call parade colors. Meaning that if they're in a parade, then what they'd look like is this. Now, that's not to say that the military version or the combat color would be any different. Because a lot of times, these guys are painted up in that color, and that's the color that they're actually going to war in. So, a dropship, which carries all these guys into combat, and then drops them from orbit, or lands and dumps them out that way, depending on how they come down. Those guys, why all the green illuminated elephant? Welcome. Well, the green is specifically because I am painting battle mechs for the faction Clan Jade Falcon. Jade Falcon, if you were to Google it, would tell you that they are primarily a bright green color, usually with a yellow accent. So, I'm hitting every mech that I have to paint today straight away with this green to get the green out of the way, and then I can put the detail work into it. Now, if there was actually a spray can of this paint, that'd be so much better, so much easier. But there isn't. They were primered with white, so I just got to cover all the white. Now these guys probably would have been better if I had coated them in black, because then certain areas could stay black. Oh, Twaya, relax. So yeah, that's why all the green. This is number 4 of 10 that I'd like to get done today. Depending on where I'm at in about 20 minutes, depends on when I switch over to doing the detail work with like the yellow. And doing different panels in a yellow to do the accent. Because Clan Jade Falcon has that accent color. I've actually picked out a really nice color for that too. Using this big old brush helps in just coating the mech. Because with the base coat of green, or any other color that you end up doing, that base coat, you really don't need to be careful with it. You just can slap that bad boy right on. Slather it on like it's a stack of ribs. Because if you do that, you can get through a bunch more. Easier. I'm going to have to get some more green out, I think. Yeah, as soon as I'm done with these legs, I'll show you the other ones, if you weren't here for those. The other ones that I've done so far. Oh, yeah. Get the underside of those leggings. the other side of that foot. And that spot, get that. And we're not worried about going overboard on the base, because after I'm done, probably off stream, is when I'll coat the base black. Because I like the little greebles and stuff that people put down on their mechs, you know, with the grass and stuff like that. I just go ahead and throw black down. I do have the paints to actually do that with, though. Citadel came out with some really good, what they call technical paints, which are real nice. Okay, so there is that guy in the base coat of green. The first one I did today, base coat of green. They're all starting out that way. This is the color I've chosen for the yellow. I think it'll accent quite well the green. And what I'm going to use, providing I haven't opened it in a while, but this technical is Spirit Stone Red. This is going to be the windows. And then, of course, my other two colors that I've pulled out, plate metal and black. Those are going to be used for like guns and whatnot. And then at the end, this thing, it's called Newland oil. It's a shade. That's going to be a beautiful thing to put out. When that goes on, you'll see why I'm just slapping on this green. I'm not painting, you know, bits and not going into great little detail, because that is going to showcase exactly what we need. It's going to make them look good. So we'll get some more green out, and let's go down a bit. What is this guy here? Anybody guess what he is? Aside from Harry? Get rid of the hair, guys. What the hell? Why is there all this hair? Freya, quit shedding on my miniatures. Quit shedding on my minis. Okay. Okay, time's up. This guy here, he's called a Hellbringer. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to set him on here. And because I can't get that piece of hair out, I'm going to go get myself a pair of tweezers, which I should have had out here to begin with. These minis have been sitting out for a while. And because of that, my dog sheds quite a bit. Oop, there's another one. And I really don't want all the hair. Okay. Jeepers. Can we, like, not and say we did? There. All of it's gone. Oh, aren't they the best? Puppies are the best, especially a golden. My neighbor has one, not even a year old. That thing grew up so fast. But my puppers, chocolate lab. Such a great dog. She's kind of half snoozing out on the porch right now. Every once in a while she'll be like, oh, there's somebody coming. Bark, bark. But then she's going to dig at the hardwood floors I've got, thinking that she can make it softer somehow. Okay, slap, chop, ba-da-da-ba-da-pop. So, oh, hydrate, thank you. Here we go, hydrating. Don't do it too much because I don't want my paint to dry out, okay? Wait till our dark side stream tonight for Zombicide. Can't wait to go into mission 2 for that. That's going to be great. Have a load of fun. Oh, mission 1. I keep saying mission 2 because we did a mission last week, and I keep forgetting that last week it was mission 0. So, yeah. I keep forgetting that whole idea of mission 0. Let's go through a tutorial and see what you think of it. Yeah, we know what we think of it. It's awesome. That's what we think of it. And to think, I never did the book missions before. Hello. Hey, Ma Crazy is here. Wow. Hello. Hello. Ain't talked to you in forever. Welcome to the stream. Stick around long enough, you might get a free sub. Isn't that right, Slayer? With everything that happened last week, oh boy. We had an anonymous gifter pop up on our Zombicide stream last week, Wednesday, and just started handing out subscriptions to the channel to everybody. If you were a follower, you got a subscription. If you weren't a follower, you got a subscription. If you were just on the channel lurking, you got a subscription. It was nuts. And that was on Wednesday. We came back on Saturday to do some more Zombicide, going south of the border to Rio de Janeiro. And he came back and did it again. It was glorious. And we're going to keep talking about it because it was glorious. We love it. We love the fact that we have a fan out there who did that to all of our other fans. We love all of our fans equally, no matter who or what they are. Well, unless they're a bot. Don't really care too much about bots, because bots can be annoying. But we do love our fans. And knowing that we have fans like you guys in the chat makes us happy as we continue to grow the channel. Alright, okay, let's do that. And this guy is getting close. We gotta drop down this guy's leg here. So, yeah, Ma Crazy and everyone else, If you're into watching some Knuckle Brains play board games, come back tonight at 6 because Zombicide Darkside will be played. And then come back on Saturday for Zombicide Rio de Janeiro. Zombicide Darkside is a sci-fi version of the zombie apocalypse. Basically fighting aliens who have been infected with a plague of some sort. Okay, I think this Hellbringer is almost set for the next step. Yeah, as it stands right now, we stream Wednesdays at 1. Right now we're doing this. Next week we're going to do Batman, the animated series board game. That one is going to be a lot of fun because that one, we painted those minis over the last 10 weeks. Blue tack is starting to become no tack. I think blue tack only is useful for a certain amount of time, which means that's not going to be pretty. So I'm going to have to hold off on the blue tack for a little bit and just coat these with my hands, holding the base. Because I want to be able to hold them with the holder when I do the fine detail work. Five and it's almost 2 o'clock. All right. So it looks like I might not be able to finish up 10 mechs like this. So I'm going to finish off mech number 6 in green. I'll leave the other 4 smaller guys alone. I will do those another day. The only reason why I'm going to finish this one up is because I started him. If I'd known it was so close to 2, I wouldn't have started him. Because that way I could have concentrated on starting in on the other stuff. So let's get his underbelly here. Beautiful little underbelly. Inside of the arm. And the fist. Now, I probably could, depending on, what I've got going on and how much I've got going on, I could do like a Friday or some other day where I sit and paint minis. I just have to have the time to do it. And the painting of the minis may not be an every week kind of thing. That might be an every other week. Who knows? Because I got a lot going on here and there. I'm still trying to get, things done to try and restart my Kickstarter for my Zombicide custom tiles. So, yeah. And if I do start up another stream for just painting minis, it'll probably be just me painting. Which I suppose, I mean, if you guys are into watching me do that and ramble like I do a lot, because I've been told I talk too much, then, well, I can ramble on like this all I want. Blah, 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 blah. Or, you know, get someone else to come in and paint with. I just have no idea who would want to paint. Or would they be painting their minis? Or would they be painting my minis? Because I would keep it as a themed painting. So no painting D&D minis while I'm trying to paint a battle mech. Oh, you're talking some tutorials. Well, it is an option for sure. I gotta hold it right here. There's a lot of techniques that I don't implore. And I just kind of paint. You know, I just kind of, wherever the brush takes me, if you will. Like, all this green. This guy is so green, he's green with envy. And he's got to be fully coated. And I think he is now fully coated. Okay, so we're going to set him over with the other little guys because I'm not going to get to these guys today. I could, but I want to finish the other 4, the other 6, other 5. Those guys over there. So these little guys are done. This guy here, do you know what he's called? I'll look at the base and I'll tell you what he is. Do you know what he's called? I know what he's called. Do you know what he's called? Some refer to him as a Black Hawk. Clanners, however, refer to him as a Nova. Okay, so we're going to set him off to the side. And now, this big old brush isn't going to be used. I don't want to use this big old brush. I want to go smaller. And that one's too small. I want to go medium small. What's this guy? Character brush? I think possibly the character brush might be too big. How about the detail? Ooh, what's this guy? Kolinsky Masterclass? No. I think this guy. This guy's a detail brush. I don't know if you can see his tip. Yes, the parasite. All right. So we're gonna go back to number 1 because all of these other bigger guys, he needs to dry some more. He needs to dry a little more. All the bigger guys, they're still got a little dampness to them. Not too much though. Now, here's the deal. I gotta pull out my yellow. Hope this is a good yellow. Otherwise, it's gonna be a real short painting stream. Let me shake it up a little better. Okay. Babe yellow. yellow. Babe Blonde. Ooh, that's a clear. Oh, come on. Clear? No. Okay. Babe Blonde is out. And now we gotta do some extra colorings here. What do we want to do? How do we want to approach this guy? Well, I think this is a thin paint though. Let's see if this works. Nope. Okay. So, this paint is very liquid. It is too thin. Ah. What do my wandering eyes see on this guy's arm? I see some spots that aren't color green. That's not good. Okay. So that Babe Blonde, it's way too runny. Okay, let me pull it. You see this? The paint should not run like that. That did not mix at all. So I'm going to try something here. That's a waste of paint. I can't do nothing about it. But what I can do is pull the cap off. Get myself a brush that I don't much care for. Well, I mean, I care for all my brushes. But stick this in here and just stir it. 'Cause sometimes you need to do this. So now, I know I got all this paint on this brush here. Let's see what this looks like now. Is it of any better value? Or is it just as bad? No, it doesn't cover. It's okay. That's all right. It doesn't cover. It's just a very thin, light color. I normally don't have issues like this, where the paint doesn't cover what I've done in previous run-throughs. So, let's switch to this other yellow. This is a demonic yellow. Now you can notice this yellow is a lot thicker. Look at that. That don't run. So let's do this. Oh, come on. There we go. I'll move my light a little bit so I can get in here with this bad boy. Alright, let's get some yellow on the brush. Not too much, because we don't want to go overboard on the panels here. And let's paint the panel. Much better. Much better. And we just want to hit the top of the panels. Now, I don't know if you can see how it isn't like a perfect... This brush might be a little too big for what I want to do. So we switch to the Psycho. Look at that bad boy. Can you see that thing? It's so tiny. We're just hitting the tops of these panels best we can. Some of the paint might come off and go in between these panels, but that's okay. Because again, you know, I'm more worried about what it looks like from a distance. You know, table length. So each of these individual panels is getting painted yellow. Now, I didn't paint the back panels of that one because there's a missile rack in the way. So by going to this smaller brush, I can easily switch over to it. So I'll just hit these two back panels back here. It's the one nice thing about these new models from Catalyst Games is the detail is so nice. So easy to deal with. Normally, I take my glasses off when I paint, but I don't have to with this. Okay. Now let's see what we can do about the panels under this missile rack. Okay. Now we can't have just that little bit of yellow. So we got to have more yellow. Let's make this yellow. A little extra paint. little more over on this side. Now, I did say a while back that I've been playing this game since the 80s. I've also been painting since then, too. You'd think that my skills would have improved a lot. But they really didn't, because there was about a 15-year hiatus. This paint, it's Army Painter War Paints. So the glitter green is, of course, one of their metallics. This yellow is Demonic Yellow from Army Painter as well. I really like these Army Painter colors. I also have a bunch of Citadel, and I also have Model Color by Vallejo. So, yeah. Excuse me. Ooh, where'd that sneeze come from? You know what? I kind of want to put this area right here, this coolant vent, into yellow. Which means that I gotta get in there. Oh God, how am I going to get in there? Carefully? That's how I'm going to get in there. Ooh. Whoops. Oh no. That happens. You get paint on places you don't want it. Okay. Now, because I did the inside, I'm going to do the inside of this one while I'm up here. Just doing the outer section of this. I'm going to get more paint on this one. With the green showing through, I'm going to get a little more yellow on this bad boy. Now, because I'm not waiting too long between different coats of paint, or different types of paint, I may actually end up rubbing some of the paint off of different areas of the mech. You know, when I'm handling it like this. Which is all right. You know, if I rub off some, that's just some battle damage to the paint job, really. When you boil it right down like that, he just fell off. All right, fine. Give me. Where was I? On the front. Fell into a piece of hair. Get off. Okay. And if I don't, you know, do that, I may do a little dry brush later. I just want to get a little more green on, a little more yellow on here. So I think I'm going to do his chin, this little panel here in yellow. Deciding the right panels to do. Some mechs you don't do panels. you do like lines. With this color scheme, I chose to do panels. I mean, I could have just painted like the lower half of his legs in yellow, but I didn't choose to do that. I'm going to do this right here, these 4 panels on the gun arm. And then I'll swing over to do this one. Just the subtlety, you know, the subtleness. Like, that's perfect. Now, I'm going to go down to the legs a little bit. Just work my way down the mech bit. You know what? I might not even get through all of these mechs because of this. Whew. Because it's already almost 2:30. Where has the time gone? So, I will go through one more mech doing the detail. Doing the yellow. And then I'll switch to some detail work. Because I want to have a couple of mechs actually done. Yeah. And now I'm just going to paint up the legs. A little bit on the legs. I'm going to switch to a slightly bigger brush because where I'm going, I could use a little bigger. Though this brush has seen its better days because it's not a beautiful point anymore. All right. Let's throw this yellow right here. Then identical on this side. Extra on this one. I can stay somewhat in lines on a mech. Oh, I gotta do the interior of the leg because we want to have the interior part too. So. Carefully spin because it's not staying on my holder anymore. Probably can't see where I'm hitting it, can you? There. That's a little easier for you guys, but not for me, so I'm going to hit it with the paint. Then I'll just tip it up so you can see it, where I put it. And I think the yellow, I might put a touch of yellow on the foot itself. And that touch of yellow is going to go here. And then I'm going to do it here. There. So, ooh, another good spot to put some yellow. Last bit of yellow I'm going to do. Switch back to the smaller brush. The last little bit of yellow I want to do is going to be on this thing. Let's see if I can do this. This is tough. Without touching. Rotating the mech. And then I'll do the other foot. Oh, shoot. I gotta do the interior too? Oh, God. Okay, fine. I'll do the interior too. Smaller brush, smaller surface. No! No! Go away. Go away. Woo! Go away. Woo! I dropped it. That was not a pretty thing to do. Especially when you got paint on the plate. Not good. And then we got to hit this circle in here. Whatever's up with that, I don't know. This is difficult to get into here, guys and girls. Very tough to do, so you got to be very careful. And this one, I think I'm going to hit it from this angle. Okay. Okay, these armatures here. I did need that little bit of yellow up top. Okay. You know what? I'm going to do a little extra right on this panel. Anything on the back, because I don't have a lot of yellow on the back. Not a lot of yellow at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do these two spots right here. I know, it's kind of a weird spot to have a couple of pops of yellow. But hey, the mech where it's in this mech wanted it there. So there you go. Boop, boop. And he's actually going to put a little bit in here too. Switch it and black. Put the yellow right here. And now a little more yellow here. Okay, this guy I'm calling Yellow Done. All right, one more. Let's do the Mad Cat. This guy here. Let's do some yellow panels. And by the time he's done, I'll be able to go back to the Dayache, the Dire Wolf, and I'll be able to hit up the windows, put some silver on him, the guns and whatnot. And be good to go. Because these guys are not going to be pristine. You know, I want them to look like they're a little dirty, you know, like they've been around. I mean, granted, they've been around. They're going to be used. Okay. We're going to actually do a little different. Instead of just a whole bunch of little panels, I mean, we're going to do a whole bunch of little panels, mind you. But he's got a nice little spot to put kind of a stripe, if you will. Because they don't all have to have a crap ton of yellow panels. The yellow panels definitely help break up all that green. Because that is a lot of green. Jade Falcons have a lot of green on their mechs. So you want to break it up a bit. So I'm going to break it up by painting this middle piece right here. Into kind of like a stripe, if you will. A little arrow kind of effect. I kind of like it. And then we're going to paint this little panel here. We're going to paint this bolt. Same on this side. One thing I didn't mention about Battletech, when I played back in the 80s, it was run by a company called FASA, F-A-S-A. They held tournaments. And back in, I want to say 90, there was a tournament that was held, and I joined the tournament. I was part of the tournament. And I played in the state finals. And I placed 7th in state finals, which, being in the great state of Indiana at the time, that was actually pretty impressive. Oh, I'm touching, ain't I? Yes, I am. Don't touch. Friend of mine who also played in the tournament played the exact same battle force that I did. Because it was an effective force. He, however, he didn't place 7th. He actually placed 2nd in the tournament. Or no, 3rd. Sorry, 3rd. Because he didn't get a chance to go to Gen Con for the finals. Or, no, not Gen Con. Because Gen Con really wasn't that big back then. I mean, it was getting there. Slowly. But wherever the finals were being held. He just ended up fighting a different group of people than I did. Strategy won. Alright, let me get this panel here, and then I'm done with the arms, I think. Okay. Good. Let me do this. I wanted to do this before, and I didn't do it. We're going to actually paint the box around the missile racks on his shoulders. Not a very steady hand here, folks. Trying to be steady. Not very steady. Now, and this will be enough yellow on his upper half. Yeah, that'll be enough yellow on the upper half, I think. You know, I'm going to do that one little kind of arrowy looking panel here. Just because. Break up that green a little bit. His legs, however, we're going to paint this strip right here, the stripe. We're going to follow that stripe up the leg. Now, one would say, well, why aren't you painting it in like a camouflage? Well, when you're a, 30-foot tall metal monstrosity, you're not blending well into any scenery. It just doesn't quite happen. I actually like that. All right, I'm going to do just a touch more yellow. Paint that outer panel. Which then makes me want to paint this round panel here. Rotate the mech carefully so I don't drop it into the paint. Paint that round one, and then paint that square panel, that one right there. This guy right here. All right. I think that's enough yellow on him. All right. It is 2:40. So I am going to move over to not painting the yellow on these guys. I'll save this for another day. Okay? Because I want to show you what a finished product will look like when I'm done. See, now the yellow is dry. It's not, this is old paint. So the yellow is pretty dry. It's not going to be a problem. With me manhandling to get this silver here, this plate mail. We're going to put a little plate mail on the plate. Get it? Plate mail on the plate. Okay. Going back to my tiny brush. My little psycho brush here. Actually, no. Step up. Detail. Maybe not quite that much of a step up. Let's see what else have I got. It's another smaller brush. Oh, that is the next step up. Unless I go with the Kolinsky Masterclass. Which is the same thing. Okay, so fine. We'll stick with this one. We'll stick with the detail brush. And now, let's paint some gun barrels. Just cover that green. Okay. Gotta go all the way around the gun barrel. This guy's got a huge chunk of gun barrels. Of course, you may be thinking to yourself, did he fire 5 or 6 shots? So, the question is, do you feel lucky? Punk? Do you? Being a rather huge mech, this thing is bristling with armament. Oh boy. I honestly don't remember what the base, what they call the prime loadout has. Does anyone in chat know off top of their head? Or can look up what it is? Because this is a lot of weapons. And I want to paint inside the missile launcher. Okay, I don't see any other weapons. Did he have any rear facing? No, not on this version. So I've painted all the missile launchers. You know what? There's a little bit of I can do to that one. That brush is a little big for this. That one is a bit big. I'm gonna go down a notch, but not down too far. I don't want to go down to a 10-aught. I don't want to go down to a... Well, maybe the 10-aught, yes. The 10-aught will probably be the better one. I was going to save that for Windows. But for little spots... Let me see if I can see this paint, though. Let's get this little dot in there and then a little dot in there. And it's real easy to take this paint and just add some touches of silver in spots. Like, I have no idea if this is a hatch or what, but I'm painting it. There's a little C on his roof that I just painted. Not sure what that is, so I'm gonna go like that. There. Okay. That looks good to me. Mad Cat, let's see what you got here, boy. Mad Cat, you got some guns on here. Let's get those barrels painted up, shall we? Good Lord. What the heck? Hair. I don't like you. It's either from my puppers or me. I blame the dog. Make sure we're doing the fronts of the guns too. Okay, and the top in between. Okay, there's those two. There's a couple. Is that a gun? Yeah, it is a gun. All right, let's do that one then, shall we? And there's a couple of, I want to say they're small lasers. Could be wrong. And now let's get interior of this missile launcher. And then, after we're done with these two bits, because I don't see any other weapons, or any other I can look to see if there's any panels I want to do in silver. like I did with the Dayashi. You know what there is? I'm going to make this panel silver. That looks kind of like a hatch or something. Okay. I am almost done. I could show you models that I painted a while ago. I would have to get it for you. But they were like a long time ago. I had painted up some minis. If you would like to see them, then yes, I can go get one of those and show you what that looks like. Let me know in the chat, and I can easily run and grab one of those. Okay, let me just touch it. Let me just do his windows real quick. It's technical. It's pretty good. I like it. Let me do up this front window here. Spin. And that side. And then I'm going to just do his windows, and then I'll go grab those other mechs, and I'll show you what my first attempt in 15 years of painting minis ended up like. Because I do not airbrush. I just use these brushes. Over the years, painting has gotten so much easier to do because of the different paints, like these technicals. And shaders and whatnot. You used to have to do all sorts of fandangling to get them to work. Now let me hit him up. All right, his windows I think are good to go. I'll get the corner. Okay. Do I have any green? Just a touch. Just have to touch up this one little spot. There we go. All right, let me let them dry. Give me just a couple of moments to end up grabbing what I need to grab. I keep my mechs stored down in the basement. They are in what is known as a Feldherr case. It's a very nice case that works beautifully for everything I need it for. Now, He's unpainted. He is painted. Those are really old paints. I mean, I can show you what I did back in the day. But I will show you. I'll show you my favorite mech. How about that? Both of them, actually. Where is he? There he is. What's this guy? Well, that's the Phoenix. Nope. I painted up John Vecken's crew. His team. So, when I did up his team, I had to have some mechs. So here is his lance. Remember what I mentioned before, the lance is 4. So let's slide these guys out so I can put the finishing touches on them shortly. Here is, and I think I can turn this down. Here is, maybe I'll leave it back up. This is one of the mechs. A Warhammer. Kind of dirty. Kind of seen combat. See, he's got a little red on him. He's blue with some yellow. He's a very dirty mech. Inside of that lance, we also have the archer. Looks pretty decent. I did a dry brushing. I don't know, you can kind of tell here. Get my big fat fingers out of the way. I'll point with this. You can see I did some dry brushing to make it look like the paint had come off of the edges, like scrapings and whatnot. I'm going to do that to these guys as well once I give them that coat. This is one of my favorite mechs. The Shadowhawk. Again, painted up blue with the red markings and whatnot. You might be able to tell what this guy was painted up to look like in his blue and silver and yellow. He was painted up to look like the original guy in the blue, silver, yellow, and the red. Oh, look, looks just like him. That's a model that I have of the original, what they call unseen Shadowhawk. And this one is John Vecken's ride, his Jenner. And yes, I had that little bit of scraping on the edges. That's a dry brush technique, which I will do to these guys as well, so you can see just what it looks like, how cool it's going to look. But that's those 4. I have others because I did his whole battalion, not platoon, battalion. I think it's a battalion. 4 stars or 4 lances. I think it's 4 lances. So let's slide this around a little bit. We'll pull the Mad Cat out. Pull him out. And now, actually, you know what? Let me get my silver that I want to use. And since I've got the plate mail out already, I will use the plate mail. But this requires a brush. This requires the dry brush. Dry brush looks like this. At least the dry brush I have looks like this. Hasn't been used in a while. The bristles are very stiff. There we go. And you can see it's a very stiff brush. And when you're dry brushing a mech like this Daiashi, you want to put a little paint on the brush, like so. Not a lot. And then just rub it off on a plate, whatever you're using, okay, until you're just about to not get anything off the brush. Then you just take it and run it across the edges. Now I did a little too dry. So, a little too dry. Okay, there we go. You want to have most of the paint coming off, but not all of it. And then just run that brush over edges and whatnot. And if you get it in bigger areas that you didn't want, just use your fingers to just remove that paint you don't want. I need to get this foot over here. It is fun. Painting, I think, is a lot of fun because you get to just do whatever you feel you like. I mean, you don't have to worry about how it looks. I mean, making a mistake on here, oh God, I made a mistake. Oh look, whoop, I didn't make that mistake anymore. Or maybe that mistake looks good. Now, I just dropped him, I'm gonna set him down. Because I gotta do a little dry brushing on this guy over here. So he's not quite so shiny green either. Well, I mean, he's gonna be shiny green. I want him to be shiny green, but this guy has a lot of, not angles, because he's got a lot of roundness to him. So, he's not going to have a lot of areas that are going to be, you know, scraped off. I mean, unless it's like a ballistic missile hit or something like that. Oh, that's a little too much paint on there. Get rid of you. And this still is not going to be done. Okay, this is not the final step of the Mini. Because you gotta consider, you need the feet to have a little less, you know, because the paint on the feet is great, but that's where I think a lot of it's going to be scraped off because he's walking through terrain like gravel and stuff. So he's probably not going to have a lot left on the feet. I'm running out of silver here, which is great. Perfect. He looks used and abused. Not really abused, though. Let me just do a little bit about and a little there and a little there and a little. Now we'll just do a little more to that. Okay. Now this dry brush, I'm done with the dry brush. Get all the paint out. Now remember, when you're doing this, you really want to take care of the brushes. You don't want to leave them in the water. Okay. You don't want to scrape them around. Let me show you the water that I've got. Out of a bucket of water. I just take my brush when it's full of paint and I just stick it in. I don't put it all the way to the bottom and I shake it around. Now sometimes what I'll do, and this is what they recommend, is you put it and you wipe it up the side of your thing, your bucket of water. And then just tap it out and then just put it to something that you can dry the brush off with. Make sure it gets out all the paint. With these tinier ones, let me use the detail one because you can see it easier. This one here, I'll do the same thing. I'll get it wet, but when I do this brush, I'll put it in and I'll wrap it and then lightly spin it, not holding a lot of pressure because I want to keep that tip as pointed as possible. Because if you don't have the tip pointed as possible, you get this nastiness. And this brush is, it's shot. This thing used to be a nice sharp point. It's shot. It's not really used anymore. But, I mean, these guys look pretty decent. But we're not done yet. We got one final paint to put on them. Newland oil. Because we need to make these guys look like they've seen some action. Newland oil is a shade. It is a paint that is designed to just be slopped on wet. You don't want to dry it. You don't want to put it on dry like I just did with the silver. You want to dip this brush in, get some oil. Just like that. Look how wet this thing is. And then just go over the mech. Nice, thick, broad strokes. Now you may be going, oh crap, he's ruining it, all that black. Well, all of this black is going into the recesses of the mech. All the little spots that are inside of areas. That's where this paint is going. And because I'm doing that, and use this stuff liberally. I mean, it's dripping onto my thing here. It is starting to drip off of this mini. Which is fine. Let it drip. You don't want to do this step until the mini is actually done with its drying a lot. Okay, you don't want it to be still damp from what you've painted it up with. So you want to just slap this stuff right down. Now, I'm going to take this brush and I just dried it off some. Because I'm just going to take a little bit of this off. I don't need all of this on like this. Because this is a bit thick. And I'm just kind of tapping some areas that have it a little too thick. Just to get rid of a little bit of pooling. Because like this area here, you don't want all of that in there. You want some, not all of it. In some areas, you're going to want to have a lot of the black in there for like soot and stuff like that. But you also don't want to lose that detail either. And I'm just drying the brush as it's soaking up some of this black off of the mech. I'm just drying it off on my little piece of paper there. And now look at this guy. If you could see it the way I can currently see it, she looks pretty fantastic. Except all the Ninja Turtles didn't have green or didn't have red masks. Unless you're talking the original comic book. Alright, now time to slather the Mad Cat. Again, I'm none too worried about how much is going on because I want this paint into the recesses. I need it to go into the recesses because it gives a lot more. It brings out that detail that I slathered all up on. Now, let me Get a little bit of this extra off. There's some of it that I don't want. Some spots I don't want a lot left on it. So I'm just tapping that off. Like all of this in the back. That's a lot in the back. Now, this black is going to eventually dry. And it will not look as dark as it does. This Newland oil is kind of a sticky paint. At least it seems sticky to me. Okay. Yeah, it does kind of have that look because I used the green and the yellow. But they are, that's the colors of Clan Falcon. Now I'm going to close up this Newland oil. Fingers are going to, they're a little doity, but that's all right. I actually have something I can grab. The minis with a little easier because they're still soaked from the Newland oil. I don't want to mess with the Newland oil, but I mean, you can see how it got in that sea quite a bit. You can see how it's got into recesses and the edges. I mean, look at that joint. Oh, look at that joint. I gotta do it so you guys can see it, not me. Now, some of it I still want to pull off. But other than that, I mean, oh, that window's black. Let's get rid of that black. Let's get rid of some of the black in the windows. Not too much, though. Oh, that gun's got a lot of it on there still. There we go. Much better. Tap, tap, tap. I think that looks pretty out. And yes, it does look like a Ninja Turtle now that I'm looking at it. Good Lord. Fine. We'll call this one Raphael because he's big, brute looking guy. I got to set him down without touching him too badly. Because this Newland oil is a sticky paint. I've never had a sticky paint before. Weird. Still. Ah! No! Get off! Get off! Get off! Get off! Thank you. A little extra. But I think he looks pretty fantastic. That's a pretty good looking mech. Now, I'm thinking, and I'm debating on it, I'm going to let this Newland oil dry a little more because it is a little tacky. But you see that missile rack? It's all silver. What color should I make the missiles in it? because the missiles are in there. I'm just not sure what I should do. Should I make them white? Should I make them red? You know, what would be a good color for the tips of the missiles? Oh, I think I need to hydrate. Let me grab some hydration. Red or white? Red for Raphael. Could probably do red. Let me get my red that I want to use. And not the Mephisto. Well, the Mephisto for the Spirit Stone red might work, but I think I want to do the brighter red that I've got, which is, again, Army Painter. And for that, I'm going to need a really tiny. White? You know what? All right, fine. White. Let's dribble a little white. And let's go to the super detail here. The little bad boy here, the cycle. Set him over there a little bit. You're right. I think the white will work better because the white is going to stand out more. Three, 4, 5, 6. Come on, get right. 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh. Blah. Needs to get a little better. It's very tough. Very tough to do here. And to be fair, I should have waited. Until the new oil was drier. Because with the Newland oil still being damp, they're not very good dots. Not good dots at all. Because I just went and painted 2. For the price of 1. Okay, and the last dot. Okay. My fingers to stop sticking to the Newland oil. Man, that Newland oil is very sticky. Very weird. Let me pull this out of the way and show you the 2 that I was able to get done today. Not too shabby. They look pretty good. I'm pleased. I got to do the bases though, but that'll come in at another point. But there you go. I'm going to let them stand straight up so that Newland oil, whatever's left that isn't dry, will settle downward and settle on the edges and the bottom. So I'm going to switch over to this screen here to see your smiling faces like mine. And it's 325 here, so not too bad for a couple of mechs. Next time I do the painting, I will of course hit these other 3 that I did. I'll finish them up and I'll get the green on the other 4 and work them up too. So, not too bad, not too shabby, looking good. Definitely need to get a star going, so when we do start playing Battletech, and I'll stream a couple of those just to give people, you know, how do you play the game kind of thing. There's no specific missions I'm going to do, you know, just play. But there's a lot of lore and a lot of things you can do in this game. There's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's insane the amount of history that has been generated for the game and the backgrounds of this faction and that faction. And, of course, my green turkeys. Yes, because I don't have anyone else that wants to play Battletech. Unless, I do have another friend that might. And he's like, you ask him what happened in 3125, he'd be like, this is what happened. You'd be like, okay, sure. He knows a lot. But, on that note, yeah, Death to God could probably want to play. You 2 against me, see who wins. Because, yeah. I was in the military. I know a thing about tactics. Oop. Yeah, don't throw too many emotes in at once. Not a good thing. Couple here and there. Just don't throw a whole ton of them. But on that note, in couple hours, less than 3, Zombicide Dark Side, we will be back for. And then on Saturday, we will have Zombicide Rio de Janeiro. Now those minis are not painted. Zombicide will not be painted. I got thousands of minis for those games. They are not getting painted. I am sorry, they will not. So, tonight, Zombicide Darkside in less than 3 hours with the moderator Slayer Ling. And Saturday is Rio de Janeiro with Dice Golem. And Silent will make her triumphant return once again halfway through the stream to enjoy playing again, because we're all loving it. Until then, bye all.